Pour yourself a fresh cup of awakening with Coffee with Wally, the podcast that brews enlightening discussions with a grind of the past and future. Join host and seasoned broadcast journalist Wally Wood of the Wood News Group and co-host Andy Valudes, the marine marketer and master strategist from Marketing Dynamics, as they explore the past, present, and future. Dive into a world where technology and globalization intersect with prophecy. Each week, Coffee with Wally links ancient and recent history to tomorrow, making sense of today's rapid changes through the lens of Revelation 13. Don't miss any episode. Visit coffeewithwally.com and subscribe for your weekly espresso of insight. Coffee with Wally, a fresh cup of awakening, awaits you. Coffee with Wally, where understanding our times becomes clear over caffeine.
Live. We're back. My name is Andy Valudes. I'm the co-host of Coffee with Wally. You're watching Coffee with Wally with our host, Wally Wood. Hey, Wally, how you doing today?
Good morning there, Andy. How are you doing?
All right. So we've got another web extra we're doing so that people get to see us on camera, as well as if you're listening and driving. We definitely don't want you watching the video, right, to be safe. But we have another guest in our series of hard believers and Christians that are doing amazing things in the marketplace. We have Mr. Lopez with Mild Technologies, and you're going to interview him, and he's been a person that you've known and brought to forums, etc. So here we are.
Amen. Yes, I've known Lewis about as long as I've known you, Andy. We were all teamed together when I had the National Space and Technology Association here in Houston from 2003 to 2013. And Lewis's company was one of our supporting members and participating members. And I want to bring focus to Lewis today and I want our audience to go to his website. It's miletx. That's miletx.com. miletx.com. He is a specialist. You don't find too many specialists that you can call that, but Lewis is a specialist when it comes to computer technology and software technology, security technology, you name it, he specializes in it. In fact, when you go to his website, click on the About tab, and you're going to be amazed at what you see, because you can find that he's got 4,272 certifications, over 4,000 certifications. He's got more names than a dictionary's got. When you go through there, and on his webpage, they're all linked. So it takes you directly to those certifications to verify his claim.
You're one of the rare guys that actually looks at that, Wally.
Yeah, I know. Hey, I do my research. I am a research journalist, brother.
I think I've had two prospective clients that actually looked at that certifications and realized you could click on them.
Yes, they are linked. And
the website will take about 30 seconds to load up. There's a reason for that. It's called a tar pit. It's actually designed to stop hackers and spammers from trying to go to the site and attack it rapidly.
Really?
Yeah, so it's a tar pit. You will get a delay for miletx.com. It will hesitate for about 30 seconds before you get a web page.
Okay.
That's terrible for business, but I use it as a tool mostly.
Well, Lewis is the type of guy who, when he has his cup of coffee every morning, he plays with the scammers and the spammers and the hackers and all kinds of malware. He enjoys going in and messing up their stuff. And we watched him do it, and it really is quite entertaining. Take us to the beginning of your organization, your company, your operation. How old were you, literally, when you started this process of becoming certified for this type of industry?
Well, it kind of goes back before certification, because I started doing this at age 13.
Really?
I didn't get my first certification until I was 20. And then I got about 4 or 5 certifications when I was 20, between 20 and 21. And I didn't realize the value of certifications until around 1996. I kept watching everybody go past me in salary and advancement. But I knew what the heck I was doing.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I had somebody that I was kind of like, jealous or envious, and I shouldn't be either one of them.
Right.
I actually listened to what he said. He said, well, if you want to get ahead, you need to get certified. And so I said, all right, fine. So the funny thing is, I went to go take a test for the certification, and I failed it miserably. And I said, well, all the questions were not even valid questions. And the answers that I answered they couldn't be answered properly because I had real world experience. And testing tests you on what they want you to answer, not on what the real answer is in life. So I thought testing was quite, unfair. But once I learned the process, it was like anything I do for a living. I pattern find. I look for things that are dissimilar. I mean, you learn it on Sesame Street. One of these things aren't like the other. So if you got three fat shoes and one tiny shoe, you have to figure out why the shoe's tiny. And that's IT in a nutshell. Another thing is when you go through high school and all through grade school, you're taught, don't look at other people's work. Don't cheat. Well, on IT, that's the only thing that you do is you look at other people's work and you absorb what somebody else has solved the problem until you actually start to learn on your own how to figure out what those patterns are. And then you become the one that's solving the problems that other people are looking for. So that's kind of how that goes down. Is IT is all about looking at other people's work and trying to find the answer on the internet. That's what we all do today. We all go to the internet and we don't know the answer. So we try to find that answer by looking at something else that somebody's already gone through to save us time. And this is what IT is all about, is figuring it out. So 1996 started getting my first certification, and then I just went certification crazy. I had a lot of idle time, and I needed some certifications to sell certain product. I needed some certifications to advance my salary and my career and my position. And I just went crazy. I mean, I started with an HP printer and then went to Oki Data printers. And then I started doing NEC computers. There was these books on a shelf that you could pull down, open it up and read the book from front to back. And in the back, there was a floppy disk. And you would stick that floppy disk in and you would take the test according to what the book was telling you. And then it would say whether you passed or failed. And then you would take that and you would submit that to NEC or to Oki Data or to whoever, and they would say, okay, congratulations. They would send you a certification that said you knew what you were talking about. And the A+ certification is the one where most of those certifications kind of come through. HP, you had to be HP Star certified to get those HP certifications.
Right.
If you look, you can kind of see I broke it down. So I wasn't being unfair about where these certifications were coming from. It's really a certification on products, not the number of certifications. The true certification number is 130. So don't get all excited about 4,700. 130 is still enough to boast about. And I've kind of stopped the certification process because in my career and what I'm doing for a living now, it doesn't require any additional certifications except to have clout to tell somebody, hey, I have a certification.
Yeah.
If somebody needs me to get certified in something in order to have that clout, I'll go and get it. But if you want to ask me a question, I'll tell you the answer, where most people that are certified couldn't tell you the answer.
Well, I'll tell you what, you've got more letters after your name than you got in your name. And that was the first thing that got my attention years ago. I want to bring focus to this matter of spam because we're all subject to it. And it's only become more enhanced, more sophisticated in the course of time. And on your website, you do have this tab, and it discusses who is behind the spam you receive. I'm going to read your headline here. Follow the money of the spam cartel. That's the first time I've heard that term used. Amazon Technologies, Inc., Google LLC, Alphabet, Inc., Cloudflare. And you go through there, and on this particular tab, you've presented a particular ad that apparently is most popular, having to do with complexion and beauty and things like this. And you take us through the process of knowing how to spot a spam ad. And when I come further down this particular page, you go further to say spam may prevail as long as there is money to be made. Those responsible who knowingly and willingly accept money for this cause pain and suffering for those who receive this email. We have to take the time, if only for a second, to determine this email was not for us and doesn't interest us. We have to clean this email. And for those that even click on this email, the companies still get paid even if you don't buy from that site.
That's correct.
Referrals, clicks, and landing on the website, all parties get paid even if you don't buy. Don't click it. For those that get enticed and also click and buy, you are not the cause. However, you perpetuate the cycle to continue to drive those who choose to create these unwanted messages to continue the vicious cycle. And then you go on to say, to only have someone that works for them to speak up and say no more. Now, we all get it. And I've, of course, learned over the years, and especially being with you, to check the originating address on any ad that comes across my computer to see whether it's coming directly from them or not. And more times than not, the address is a dead giveaway. And so I delete it. I even tell my server to block it, to filter it if it ever comes back across again, this type of thing. Give us some practical things that we can do aside from that will help make us less of a target. I mean, these things, I suppose, Louis, that our email addresses, our names fall into databases the longer, the further we surf online, and that's where they get all of these addresses from.
Yes, it's a lot of it has to do with harvesting. The
Uh-huh.
more web presence that you have, the more likely you're going to get more spam. If you
Okay.
even post, like for example, today, if my email address was posted related to this on this website, it's going to be harvested by people down the road, and it's going to end up on a list. And it's kind of like handing your business card to someone else, and then you get referrals, right?
Yes.
In this case, it's a little more dastardly. You hand your business card to somebody else through posting it on the web, so to speak, and then the spammers sell it amongst each other on the dark web or amongst each other, and it becomes part of a database. And that database continually gets resold and respread, and more people end up sending you spam. Now, I've been working on spam since, I don't know, since around 1996, 1997, and I haven't really addressed it. I've really just kind of went with it. I just said,
Right.
it's spam, it's unwanted. The progression that we do today is terrifying, because now I actually get an email from somebody I actually know, and it's from the real email address. So
Yes.
it's no longer what it used to be. It used to be from somebody I don't know to somebody I don't know, and I'm neither one of those people. So it seemed like, oh, that's an obvious spam. It's not even addressed to me. But then in the last couple of years, I'd say the last 10 or 12 years, we started getting an email from ourselves that said, hey, I've been watching what you've been doing. What you've been doing is really, really sinful and bad and awful, and you need to pay me a ransom, or I'll send it to all your contacts. You've been doing something, that's terrible with yourself.
Right.
And I think a lot of men get real panicky. Some clients will call me and say, oh my gosh, they got all my stuff. They've been watching what I've been doing. I said, no, nobody's been watching what you're doing. It's really just playing the odds of men and internet. Men and internet
Right.
are going to look at some things that they probably shouldn't look at. But the message is there to instill fear and to extort you for money. And most of the time
Yes.
it's been Bitcoin. So
Yes.
it's almost always Bitcoin. Hey, send me a Bitcoin and I won't send this to all your contacts. It's fake. It's a fake message. That
Yes.
we've gotten way past that now. Now we're actually getting emails from people we really know that says things like, hey, yeah, I'm stranded. Send me $5. I'm without gas and I lost my wallet. Can you do that? Send it to me, Western Union. Just send me like $100 and I'll be able to get an Uber and come back. And you kind of have to start questioning those things. And now we're past that scam. The scams that we see today are even worse. Now it's kind of like, hey, I know this guy Wally, and Wally actually says to me, I know this other guy. This Facebook is selling cars that are worth $10,000 and selling them for $2,000. Oh my gosh, it's such a steal. There is a lawnmower that we all know is $400. He's selling it for $50. This guy is really just hard up for money, and he really needs money, and I know this guy. And so I'm thinking, wow, those are really good deals. And if I help him out, at least I could get a good deal and he can get the money that he needs. No,
Right.
the Facebook page scam is one of the most recent ones, and it's hitting everybody. And it is very good. I mean, it's socially engineered in such a way that it's someone that you actually know.
Yes.
And until you actually start making a phone call and realizing, oh, if you want us to hold that car for you, you just have to give us $500 or $1,000, and then I won't put that up for bid anymore, and then you can have it. I'll reserve it for you. No, it's a scam. The car isn't
Yes.
real. It's not even belonging to that person, but everything about it looks legit.
Now, if I may inject something here, since you brought up Facebook, and I'm sure that you've probably experienced this as well. I'll get friend requests from people that I know. And what I've started doing now, or have been for some time, whenever I get a friend request from somebody, especially I know, I'll go onto my Facebook page where it originates from, and or where it's targeting, and I will type into the search engine the name of that person. If we are already linked as friends, it will tell me. Therefore, I will delete the most recent friend request because I know it's a scam trying to get on the inside of my page so as to kidnap my down list of friends. And
Yes.
that's how they're able to replicate this invitation.
Yes.
And every once in a while, you'll hear somebody come back and say, I did not send out a friend request. Do not answer that friend request. But I've been in the habit of doing that for years. I'll check to see if we really are friends. And if
And
so,
that's
then
one of the scams too. Is
yeah,
actually getting a Facebook request saying, I got someone's been sending out a Facebook request saying it's me and it's not me. And
right.
that is the scam.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
but
So
I have seen recently, but oh my gosh, the Facebook fake looks so real that
yes.
you would say that is Wally Wood and that's his picture.
Mhm.
And those are all the things that belong, but there's some things that you have to pay attention to stop this within yourself when you receive this information.
That's
And,
why I want you to cover today, if you possibly
and
could,
so
because the other thing I want to bring up is the Bluetooth.
So here's how you prevent that is simple characteristics. Is it characteristic of that person to request this information? Characteristics are one of the best ways to determine whether something is spam or a fraud or not. Is it characteristic for Wally to ask for money? No. If he was going to call and ask for money, he would probably make a phone call. And then the second thing is verification. If someone's asking for something, physically call them, because we don't do that anymore. We're just used to emailing and texting. And if you text somebody who's got an information that kind of seems similar to Wally's phone number, you might just reply to it and start talking to them. There's all kinds of other scams that say, do you own this property? Are you willing to sell it? We get these texts all the time. And sometimes it's actually a property I actually do own, or
yes.
sometimes it has nothing to do with my name or a property that I even own. It's just simply looking and recognizing the characteristics of the information to understand. It probably wouldn't get you if it just said, yo, Adrian, I have a property on Main Street, and I'm not Adrian, and I don't have a property on Main Street. I'm less likely to fall for that. But if it says, Lewis, I saw your property on Main Street, well, they got the name right, but I don't have a property there. You may feel inclined to engage and actually reply and say, I don't have a property on Main Street. Well, guess what? You fell for part of the scam, because now they want to call you to say, well, what property do you have that we can help you sell?
And not only that, but the fact that you responded at all gets you in the door. So
Yes.
I don't even respond. If not by phone call, I do not respond online, because that in itself is a ticket that says to them, we got the right address, the person is there, now we can go further with that person and his contact list.
And they've matched your cell phone to your name. I'm going to ask you guys a question, and I want either one of you to respond as fast as you can with the response that you should. You ready?
Okay.
Is this, you get a phone call and it's going to say, Andy, is this Andy Valdez with the last four digits social security number 4572? And let's say that really is your social security number. Go. Either one of you.
Yeah.
What's your response?
Is this AI?
You what?
Or is this AI?
No. Is this
No
Andy
response.
Valdez with the last four digits of social security 4572? Just pretend that is your last four digits of your social security. How are you supposed to respond?
I would just hang up.
That would probably be an advisable way.
Best way. Yes. Do
Because
not say yes.
don't say yes, don't say no.
Right. Don't say
Both
anything.
of those answers are confirming.
Yes.
Because if you say that's not my social security number, they say, well, it is Andy Valdez, so I've got the right guy and phone number combined now.
Right.
And if you say yes, it is, how did you get that information? Well, you just confirmed it. And if you didn't say yes, you just simply said, how did you get that information? Well, you've confirmed it just the same.
And you're giving them your voice print that they can also utilize in AI and other matters as well. They want your voice print. And that's why, again, like you said, if you get the question on the phone, hang up. Don't say a word.
Yep.
Amen.
So there's not much you can do to stop the phone calls coming inbound, except to say on an iPhone, you can set your phone to do not disturb mode. If if you're really not about getting any new phone calls from anybody else, then you can set your phone in do not disturb mode and actually say, I only want to get phone calls from my contacts.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
that's bad for me because I need new business from random numbers. Like when Andy called, I needed to take that call, and I probably treated him poorly when he first called. I said, hello, nice and slow and terrible. And then he said, Wally gave me your number. Oh, yeah. Okay. No, hey, go ahead. Yeah. You're
Yeah.
free to talk to me. But I get 200 phone calls in a day from spammers and
Wow.
hackers and scammers. I call them all day long.
Yeah.
And I just taunt them because I don't care. And a lot of people say, well, I never get as many phone calls as you do. And I said, well, you probably don't taunt them either.
Yeah. Let me ask you something real quick before we go. Uh, Bluetooth on your phones. How
Yes.
vulnerable? How vulnerable are your phones with Bluetooth on?
If your phone is outdated, you're one of the higher vulnerabilities that anybody can actually connect to you. If your Bluetooth is simply on and you have a vulnerability in your phone, in other words, an older iOS or an older Android firmware, then the bad guy can turn that Bluetooth on and pair with it without the permission of the holder of that phone, and they'll have root level access really quick. It's called the Blueborn virus. It's kind of old now.
Right.
I thought Blueborn was going to be the end of most all of us, and relatively quickly. The bad part of that virus that couldn't spread is it was only within about 30 feet of where you're standing. But if you're in an airport or stadium, that could have spread like crazy. It was not operating system specific. It worked on Linux, Windows, Android, and iPhone, iOS at the time. All four were vulnerable, which meant you simply could get infected and the next person gets infected and the next person gets infected. Just, faster than any actual virus in the wild could likely spread. It's just way too fast. And I'm really glad that the patches closed most of those holes up. But the best thing to do is to just turn your Bluetooth off. But today that's impractical because you Bluetooth to your car, you Bluetooth to your headphones, you Bluetooth to your speaker, and so you can listen to the broadcast or whatever. You Bluetooth to everything. So
Right.
it's best practice is to turn Bluetooth off when you're not using it.
That's true.
Problem is everyone's using their headset, their earbuds for Bluetooth response today. Not everybody, but
Now,
great.
to our viewers, a little background. It was about probably maybe 10 years ago. I'm not really sure how long ago it was, but I held a Revelation File News forum at our church in which I interviewed Luis Lopez for the purpose of the Bluetooth demonstration. And he brought this piece of equipment with him, and we hooked it up to our overhead projector. And so while we were talking before this full audience, and I'm sure these memories are coming flooding back to you, Luis.
Oh, yeah.
He turned his box on and was able to pick up everybody in that auditorium who had their Bluetooth phones on. And we were able to project their names on the screen as to their identity. And you proceeded to tell everybody what you could do with it from that point. Now, that's the technology you were just referring to, right?
Yes, that's correct. Blueborn virus was an easily attackable system. But even without that, there are Bluetooth scanners that you can go out there and scan and see any Bluetooth device. Now, here's the deal. If you had an iPhone, you can go to settings, then go to general and go to about, and that's your iPhone name. So if my iPhone said Luis Lopez or just Luis, then it's going to be broadcasted likely as Lewis's iPhone or something similar to that.
Right.
And then if I was walking into a room and I wanted to attack specifically Lewis, I could pick him out of that room in a heartbeat. So naming.
Yeah, you demonstrated that to me in your old office building one time. Yeah.
Yeah. You can walk in the Wi-Fi region instead of Bluetooth, switch to Wi-Fi for a second, and it'll say, Craft Technologies Wi-Fi, or it'll say Coca-Cola Wi-Fi or Exxon Wi-Fi. And then you know who you're trying to get a hold of instead of just saying, well, I'm not sure which one, or they may not even have Wi-Fi. Well, that's what you want to do. You want to keep the bad guys guessing all the time. If you don't keep the bad guys guessing, then they know exactly who they're trying to go after, and that's who they're trying to target.
Now, in cases like that, it usually asks you for a password if you try to get in on that network.
Wi-Fi and Bluetooth are absolutely not secure, no matter how secure it says it is. Whether it's WEP, WPA, WPA2, WPA3, MAC filtered. Even MAC filtered is vulnerable. MAC filtered filters it down to one number out of the entire planet Earth. Only that machine can connect. Guess what? I can spoof a MAC address and become that guy when you're not around. I can be that MAC address and I'm in your system.
Wow.
So there is no such thing as security. There's not at all in any scenario of any kind. There's only more secure. I can give that to you in the most rudimentary of examples. Let's say you have a house, it's 1970, and the front door is just open. Well, guess what? All kinds of raccoons and animals can walk in, people can walk in. What's the first step in security when it comes to an open door?
Locking it.
Close it. No, just close it.
Close it, yeah, and then lock it. Yeah.
Then lock it. You got a little twisty lock, but they're able to just kind of put a credit card in there. Well, now what do? You deadbolt. So each time you say it's secure, and yet it's not. It's only more secure than it was. So let's say now you've got a 5-foot concrete front door, and I walk over to the 1/16 inch pane of glass and flick it, break it open, and then twist it open and then raise the window. Well, that door only made it more secure. It's not secure. And you could do this for the whole house, and you can still have an axe to go in through the roof, and it's not secure. There's no such thing as security.
Okay.
You just make it harder.
On that note, we're going to wrap this up because we're running out of time. How do people reach you? They get to you by way of your website, and they can reach to you directly from there, right?
They can go to miletx.com, miletx.com, or they can call us directly at 713-783-6453, or they can contact any of our referrals. A lot of times, if you're seeking an IT company, just ask one of your competitors, who do you use? And a lot of times you're going to find Mile Technologies takes care of the IT services for that company.
So for those of you who are looking to increase and improve your security, we're in a world where there is no security, call Mile Technologies, because you heard him say it himself. Louis, thank you for being with us. And we're going to do this again with you sometime because I want to go deeper into these subjects. This is our public service version of Coffee with Wally. Andy, wrap it up.
All right. What an awesome episode. So much to comment on, but for the sake of time, we invite our audience to send your comments and your emails questioning, maybe some of the things you've come across, cite some of the examples. I know that I've been taking advantage of one guy that I knew, and then the more his story got weirder and stranger, finally said, wait a minute, this is probably a scam. So thankfully I woke up to it. But you've been watching Coffee with Wally, our Web Extra edition, where understanding our times becomes clearer over caffeine and apparently technology. So thank you, Wally. Thank you, Louis. We'll catch you on the next show.
Amen.
Thanks. See you.